It's going to be a very windy 24 hours across southern Australia as a strong cold front moves through. There is also a possibility of hazardous coastal conditions and flooding in Tasmania. First, let's have a look at the warning situation. And as of Tuesday afternoon, we have warnings for winds covering 5 states, extending all the way from southwest WA and into the southeast of the country. Damaging winds above 90 kilometres an hour have the potential to bring down trees and power lines and create dangerous road and transport conditions, while destructive winds above 125 kilometres an hour can cause significant damage. First, looking at Western Australia, and there is a warning for damaging winds extending along the south coast from Cape Leeuwin to Bremer Bay, and these winds will ease later on Tuesday afternoon. For the rest of the country, these winds increase through Tuesday, and we do have weather warnings current for parts of South Australia, Victoria, Tasmania, and New South Wales. And this does include the Mount Lofty Ranges, Melbourne, Hobart, Wollongong, and parts of Western Sydney. We'll see these winds increasing from the west from Tuesday afternoon, initially for parts of South Australia and elevated western and central parts of Victoria and northwest Tasmania. Into Tuesday night, winds increase across the rest of the warning areas in Victoria, including for Melbourne, as well as Tasmania. Through the day, there is a risk of destructive wind gusts for elevated terrain in Tasmania, as well as the east coast of Tasmania. And in Victoria, the risk of those destructive wind gusts will come at night time across alpine areas. Then into Wednesday morning, that's when we see the winds pushing up the New South Wales coast and towards the Sydney Metro and the Blue Mountains. As well as these very strong winds, we are expecting hazardous coastal conditions. So we do have warnings current for damaging surf and abnormally high tides. First for damaging surf, and they cover areas along the southwest coast of Victoria and towards the exposed coast of Wilson's Promontory. And these are dangerous waves which could cause coastal erosion. Abnormally high tides are possible as well for parts of Port Phillip Bay and the Gippsland coast, and these can cause inundation of low-lying areas. But even as the cold front moves through on Wednesday, we will continue to see very strong winds, particularly across southern parts of Victoria. As well as wind, we're also expecting heavy rain in some areas, particularly in Tasmania. A flood watch is current for much of the state, and that's for the possibility of widespread minor flooding once the rain starts to fall, with the possibility of isolated moderate flooding. Over the next 7 days, we're expecting widespread falls of 100 to 200 millimetres across Tasmania, although across Victoria, we're not expecting those widespread falls to come. And in Tasmania, we are expecting the snow level to fall to around 600 metres once the cold front moves through, with just a few flurries across some of those alpine resorts in Victoria and in New South Wales. A closer look at the wind and the wind above the surface, we can see heading into Tuesday night, those winds really ramping up with that cold front across parts of South Australia, Western Victoria and northwestern Tasmania. Into Tuesday night and Wednesday morning, those is when the winds will really ramp up and peak across central Victoria, including for Melbourne. As that cold front moves through, winds increase along the New South Wales coast through the day on Wednesday, still remaining very windy behind that cold front, and that's ahead of the next system coming through from the west on Thursday. So with very windy conditions coming up, as well as hazardous coastal conditions and the possibility of flooding, make sure you have the latest information and warnings for your area, and you can get these from the Bureau's website and social media channels, and please stay safe.